Kia ora. Welcome to this video. My name is Chris Meyer, and here I will cover the basics of how to process a live kick sample once you're back in the lab. Moving across now to the lab where I've set up a workstation. I've got my sample that I collected from the Avon River this morning, just in this container. And the first thing I want to do is empty it into the tray that I've set up. And when I do this, I want to be careful that I don't have too much of the sample in one tray. And so what I quickly realized is that I have a big sample, so it's best to spread it over 2 trays. What you really want to do is make sure that your sample isn't too deep and you don't have too much debris in any one tray that you could potentially be hiding something underneath that you miss. And whilst I'm emptying the sample into the trays, I also am taking care to swirl the water around to dislodge anything that might be holding on, particularly snails. And you may actually have to reach in and knock a few of them off the sides to make sure that you get them all into your trays. Now, once I'm happy that I've got everything into the trays, I will grab a set of forceps and a pipette and use them both in combination to suck up or grab any of the invertebrates that I see crawling around, swimming, floating in the samples. The pipette works really well for sucking up the small, fast, wriggly things that you may find yourself chasing your tail when it comes to grabbing with the forceps. And you can just work away at this in your own pace. There's no need to rush. It's very helpful to be methodical and work your way up the tray and then maybe down another. If you're lucky enough to be working in a pair or in threes, you can actually set it up so that you're working on a tray each to go faster that way. But again, just work at your own pace that you're comfortable with. If you're struggling to actually find something new, you can move on to something else or leave it for a few minutes and then come back and try again. But once you're comfortable that you've found everything and you've set it up into petri dishes, what you want to do then is look at moving across into the microscope so we can work on IDing the invertebrates that you've actually found. Just to give a quick overview of the invertebrates that I found, I've set myself up with 4 petri dishes, and the first I've put anything that's large that I was able to grab with the forceps, and the second one I put any of the worms that I found, and the third one I put any snails that I found, and then in the last one I put any of the small fast swimming things that I had to use the pipette to grab. For the worms and the small fast swimming things, it's much easier to put them into confined water droplets, so that way when you move to look at them under the microscope, they can't swim away when you're trying to focus. And with that, I'll end this video here. If you want to know more, check out my next video in which I'll cover the 10 most common taxa that I found in this Avon River sample. Ka kite!